All right.
I gotta see what this is all about.
This down. All right. Could somebody holler and tell me if they can see the slide?
Nope.
You cannot. Let's get back to my Teams. I, of course, have a little issue that's saying a triangle of exclamation mark, which I don't love seeing. All right.
There you go. I can see it now.
Yay! Okay. So, of course, my picture on my screen is a little wonky, but we're going to just run with it because I'm going to show you today live on how to go to these reports, and how to get to these reports. And, the biggest thing is that turn report data into business decisions. We want to track our activity. We want to use these to guide our sellers. And we also want to help find buyers. So, and find out where those buyers are and how we can reach them. So, what I'm going to show you today is these are the 3 questions that should be answered by the time we're done. Is what am I doing? I'm going to show you how to track your showing requests, your open house, your listings, your follow-up activity, and all the reports that can show you that information. And then I'm also going to show you what can we learn from these reports that can tell us about the market. What is this market telling us about it? It's going to help measure traffic, price ranges, demands in price ranges, local trends, and then they're going to be able to explain what that means. And it's going to, hopefully by the time you're done here, you're going to be able to use some of these reports to have conversations with your sellers. When, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of my agents are having hard conversations because they're not getting the activity. They're trying to get those price reductions and they're not getting them. They're trying to, every angle, explain to them what they need to do. And this is just another place. And it's another place that you can put it in black and white. That's what my favorite part is because you know what? We all are really good at negotiating. We all are good at talking. We're all good at explaining things. But sometimes we have those people that just don't listen to us. Has anybody ever had a client that's not listened to them, even though you know best? Well, this is going to help put some of those things into black and white that will help get them to see your point of view from a different angle. So, and then we're going to find out who is already working with these right buyers, because you guys, when you have a hard property to sell, you don't care where that buyer comes from. You would love Remax, Coldwell, anybody to bring you in a buyer at that point. Well, I'm going to show you this report that honestly, I can't believe we can even get this data, but we can. And then I'm going to show you how to use it by showing you who are the agents that are looking at houses in the price point that you are looking. So our next slide is what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the agent activity report. And the agent activity report is going to show you like how many showings you've requested, price changes, what new listings you've taken, changing status. It's going to be something that you can look at what you're doing. And we're going to be able to turn listing traffic into clearer conversations like traffic, feedback, open houses, marketing. Because sometimes it's like, what did I do for this one? What things can I tell the seller that I'm doing? And we have lots of things that we have through Emma platform and things like that. So, I just wanted to make sure I was sharing properly, but because it's just kind of popping up with stuff I don't want it. I want you to go away. There we go. And how many of you guys are using InfoSparks right now? I'm sure a lot of you, but in this report, you can also easily get to InfoSparks. So I'm going to show you a little bit about that. We're going to just touch a little bit about that. And I will tell you lots of times I use InfoSparks for those people that don't want to listen to me, that don't want to hear what my agent has to say, that doesn't want to, hear the expertise that this agent has, but they want things in black and white. I always kind of lean back to InfoSparks. And so we're going to talk a little bit about price point, areas, square footage, and trends. Because I will tell you, giving people that extra information is sometimes so incredibly helpful. So, and then before we leave, this is my last slide before we jump into the live thing. I want you to be able to understand what the target market analysis does. See what price range are receiving the most showings, and use it to guide price point conversations at your listing, at price reductions, or before you lose the listing, because we've been having a lot of those conversations as well. Activity on comparables report. This is a must run too. And this is finding associates that have similar listings in your price range, and whose are the agents that are showing them, because then you could market to those people that are looking possibly at comparable properties that are still haven't bought yet. And then the other one is just, I'm going to very vaguely talk to you about the listing activity, because that can really show reviewing traffic, feedback, open houses, and marketing events per listing. But the goal is not more reports, because you guys, there are a lot of reports out there. It's about making sure that you're using the right reports the right way to get the best conversations and smarter marketing for your listings. So with that, I'm going to move out of here and jump into North Star, and I'm going to get where I need to be. And then I'm going to ask you, can you guys see my MLS?
Yes.
Yay!
Yes.
All right. So where we get into this is we move to tools. And right here, we just go down to showing time. Many of you are going to have a dashboard that's just like this. Many of you are going to have the new version. So before I switch to the new version, I wanted to be able to show you where, so if yours still looks like this, go to this, try it now, and it will give you a much clearer action plan every single day. And I'm not going to ask them to show you around me around, but you should ask them to show you around for sure. But the biggest thing is I'm going to jump over here to the reports. So come to the reports. And we're gonna, I grabbed a little bit of information from some of my agents' listings so that I would have some information in here. But what I want to do is I want to show you all the different reports. So showings on my listings, showing, no, my new listings, my new showings on my listings, price changes on my listings. All of these things are going to be here. But we are going to click, I'm going to go back actually, only because, all right, go to this report section. And so right here is the info sparks. I'm just going to very vaguely jump on here because I want you guys to think about info sparks in a way that it's going to be a tool for you when you have a difficult time getting somebody to understand you. And I don't know about you guys, but how many people have asked you, well, how much is that price per square foot? I'm sorry, but I have got a lot of people that have asked me that question, and I'm like, that has nothing to do with what your house is worth. But I will tell you, a lot of people ask that question, and this is a place that you can come here and look at averages price per foot. I will tell you too, what you can do is you can look at the area by what makes sense for this listing. You know, do you need to be in a school district? Do you need to be in a neighborhood? Do you need to be in a city? Do you need to be in a county? Do you need to show them the vast area, because there's really not that many things to be able to be showing them? Those things are going to dictate how this chart works. And many times you have to look at what's going to make them hear what you need them to hear. So things that you can look at that I find that are super helpful is days on market. If we look in, let's just take Washington and Chisago County. Okay. And this is you're gonna be able to click on here then and put in what is the average price per foot? Where are we at? We're at 206. Sometimes that makes sense. You know, closed sales, it's gonna give you information. Pending sales, month's supply, how many houses are out there? We're much higher than we have been in the past. Sale prices, how many showings per listing, you know? We're seeing showings are down a lot. Percentage of original list price, you know, like, are we getting original list price? This says yes, but I really don't think that's a median. And, you know, you can change it for average. Um, so I would say the average, um, here is saying 98%. I think that's a little crazy, so it must be, oh, it didn't give me. I'm gonna go 7 county try. Um, that's telling you, let's see, let's run that report. What are we at? Percentage of list price. It's saying that it's for a median, it's average, but for an average, it's about 98%. Price per square foot, all these kind of things can definitely be used to explain things. So I always like people, and then to know here that you can print and share these reports right here in the middle. So use these how you need them. And sometimes too, you need to narrow it down to like only larger houses, you know, or 4 bedrooms or different price points. How many people, you know, are like in a higher price bracket and are like, well, they keep comparing this to $300,000 houses when it's not, you know? So, and it's percentage of last list price. So keep that into mind. That's not, this is last list price, so you can look at that way. Or original list price, you can look at it that way. So, many different ways that you can look at those information. So now we're going to come back here, and that was under market stats. The other 2 reports that we're really going to focus on, and I really encourage you to come nose around in all these reports, but activity on comparable reports. So this is the one that I can't believe we can see this information. And I was like stumbled across it when I was helping an agent one day. And I was like, how can we see this? I'm like, maybe I can only see it because I'm a manager and I have all the office listings. So then I went on another agent's dashboard and I went on another agent's dashboard. And no, you guys can see this information too. So what it's going to do is it's going to pull my listing, my area for my office, and it's going to pull other Edina Realty agents, because we can only see our associates. So it is other Edina agents, but other Edina agents that have properties listed for this certain number. So I am just going to go from 300. Why not go to 1 million? And we're going to do the last 30 days, but we're going to look in. Instead of looking in cities, why don't we look in school districts? Let's go to White Bear, Forest Lake, North Branch.
And Lisa, when you're done with this, I have a question or comment about this report.
Yes, okay. All right, so then we look here, and you can see in that price range all of the properties that are having showings, and you can see who has showed it. So Shady Lane has been showed by Amy Joe and Tom Carlisle from Remax. In White Bear, this Megan from Remax showed Otter Ridge. And the thing is, we can see the price point. And we can see the MLS numbers. So the thing about this is don't be creepy and reach out to Tom Carlisle and be like, "Hey, I was just looking on the MLS and I was looking at these reports and I see you showed Shady Lane, so I really think you should show my listing on blah blah blah." That's gonna freak somebody out because it would freak me out. Like, are you a stalker? Kind of thing. But what I could do is I could make sure that I send Tom Carlisle, especially because I have his email address right here, a very detailed email about my upcoming open house and that I would love for his clients to come check out my $425,000 property that I have in North Branch, because it's just a way to start conversations. This is a way to make sure you're talking to the right people, that you're advertising. I mean, like, we're advertising to tons of people, but if you could specifically know, like, these people are looking in this price range, what a huge advantage this is. So, Mary, I'd love to hear what you had to say.
Yes, I love this report too, but I either was cautioned or my brain cautioned me that this is some kind of problem that I'm going to reach out to an agent that showed another Edina listing and possibly interfere with a relationship they may be having already with an offer I don't know about. It just seems like something we shouldn't be interfering with another Edina
Listing.
transaction. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And maybe you want to look it up and be like, hey, to one of these, like, I think this is Amy Berry's listing on Shady Lane, be like, actually, it's not. But say that it was. Maybe ask the listing agent, like, hey, how much activity you have? Are you working? You know what I mean? Like, that might be a conversation that you could have so you don't interfere. Because yes, you don't want to interfere and say, hey, look at mine, don't buy theirs, even though you're probably already, doing that. That's a very, very good thing. But I do think that there's a way of being able to do it. And I don't think it's harmful to send an email about an open house that you're having coming up, because we do that anyways, to people. It's just making sure that you get it in front of the right person that's going to possibly have something to do with it. But I do think, yes, protect that dual agency. You don't want to interfere with other people's listings. But if they're not going to buy that listing and they've already shown it, and they also tell you the date of the showing. So, like, some of these you can see, like, oh, it was back in, and you can also, just for reference on that, um, pick the dates. So you can look at, maybe you, instead of doing that, you look at who showed it. Sorry.
Well, and
In
as you're doing
June.
that, I think that I try to think like a lawyer. I think the absolute safest way would be, because I've used this report a lot, is to keep track of who has shown, and because you don't know if they're thinking about a second showing, I just really don't want to interfere
Sure.
with another. What I would do is keep track of who's showing it, who hasn't shown mine, and once the other one goes pending to somebody else,
Sure.
then I can jump on those other people, although that might be too late. They may have bought something. But anyway, there are ways to use this, but I would like to hear legal weigh in on
Yeah, and maybe I
the
should
best
ask
way.
legal how we could handle that, because I do think, like, I mean, because we are publicly allowed to advertise. I mean, we're not like, I mean, and we're publicly advertising to people every day, all day. You know what I mean? Like, no, do I want you to take away somebody's sale? Absolutely not. But they probably have seen it on the MLS. If you have it on the MLS and you're, doing it, so it's like, um, I do respect what you're saying, and I don't want, like, it to you ever to interfere with, being a dual agent. But I do think, especially if you had a conversation, that there's no harm in, trying to get somebody to jump on something, um, because they're being advertised about properties every single day. And we all know that the buyer's going to buy the house that they want. Like they probably, could look at a lot of these houses. So I do respect, Mary, what you're saying 100%. I love that. And I do think that we do have to respect dual agency, but especially if you have a conversation and be like, hey, and they say, no, they said the living room was too small and they're not going to be checking it out, then be like, all right, well, I'm going to reach out to them, because this is public information that we can get. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. All right, we're going to go back. Anybody have any questions about that report or more thoughts on it? Yeah. I think sometimes it's just like, don't you feel like you're not marketing to the right people and you're not telling the right people? But I will tell you, I don't think that marketing to people is going to make the people buy houses over another house. It's like, it's probably, they would buy what house they were going to buy no matter what. But being in the right place at the right time is sometimes helpful. All right, and then these other reports right here, like listing activity report, is your listing activity report, your showings you've requested. So these are really great for tax purposes. These are really great for like if you're trying to figure out when did I show all these properties, like, oh, how much mileage did I not record? These are really great ways of figuring out when you had showings and reports that you could use to do things like that. Also, the listing activity report that I had on there, you guys, this one is great because it reviews all activity details from the life of the listing. You can actually easily review feedback from showings, document open houses, documented open houses, advertisements. You can see everything that you've put into this and be able to see what you've done for your listing activities. And these are great because if you put all that information into the MLS, then you can have these reports to know, wow, I did a lot for that one. Look at how much that one sold over list price, kind of thing. The other one is this target marketing analysis. I think this is such an utilized report. Mary, do you use this one as well?
Yes, I use all these. I love these.
Yay! I love it. And so this one, what I love so much is that if you come in here and say you're like, let's just do White Bear for right now. White Bear Lake. And we're just gonna look for this is the last 30 days, but you can do last 30, last 60, last 90. But I have a property that's gonna be in the White Bear Lake area, and I want to know what's selling. And this is telling you that 3 to 400 is booming, booming, booming. But if as soon as we get over that, so like if you have a seller that's like, oh, we really need to be over 400, we need to be at 410, 425. This would be an excellent report. And over here, you can see that you can email it, print it, download it into a PDF and put it in, however you want, into a digital report or use it for AI, kind of thing. But like this is saying, if somebody wants to be at 410, show them how many more people are going to be looking at their house if they're at 400. This is a huge amount of people that are doing. And it might be like, you know what? I want to look at a school district instead. So I'm going to look at the North Branch School District and I'm going to submit. Oop. What did I do here? The whole month, price range. I don't know what I did. I'm going to go out and go back in. There we go. I hit some button somewhere. So last 30 days. This one's telling you kind of the same thing, that price range is really, really hot. And this is really going to help you get into different, areas. And you also can go by zip codes, property type. So you could look for, if you're looking for something else, Polk, Wisconsin. And then all down here, it shows you percentages and monthly averages, weekly averages, showings per listing. All of that information is also on here. So if you have a buyer that's on that fence of like, I just need a little bit more, and you're like, I know if we get it underneath this, we're going to get way more activity. This is an excellent report. Also, it is like if somebody is like 299.9 they want to be listed at, you might want to show them like, well, I think we should exhaust 300 first so that we can, maybe get into this button just in case people are 300 to 500 looking, 300 to 400 looking. And the other thing is that you can narrow this down to $25,000. So if you wanted to say like, I want to look at 400 from 350 to 400 or 325 to 400, you can look at that too and show them like how many more people are looking under 400 than this, so you can definitely make it even group down farther. Anybody have any questions? Maybe I lost you, or people don't have any questions about any of these reports. Well, I'm going to get off the phone and I'm going to call legal and find out how we should be making sure we're using that report respectfully and legally. And then what I will do is I will send a email to Bobby and to Anne and to Leah, and then we'll send it out to you guys and what my findings are.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks, you too.